Hello and welcome to iGCSE Success. And if you're new here, a big hello to you. I'm an English teacher and I post content here on YouTube to prepare students for their Cambridge First Language English exam. Of course, if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to check out my previous videos where I break down a number of the core skills needed to succeed with first language English. So today's video is all about the importance of being able to successfully identify both the audience and purpose of whatever directed writing task you are given. So let's get straight to it. Now, the most important thing for any directed writing task or any non-fiction writing task for that matter is being able to identify three things. Number one, quite simply, is what is the text type you are being asked to write. Number two is who is your intended audience. And number three is why are you writing it? In other words, what is your purpose? Now, the acronym I use with my students is TAP, Type, Audience and Purpose. And I often say, don't forget to tap on the text. And that really is the first thing you should be doing with any directed writing task. It's so vital that you are able to identify these three basic things before you even start writing. Now, of course, with the directed writing task, you are always given the text type. Once you know what the text type is, then you need to start thinking about the typical features associated with whatever text type you have been given. And of course, the typical features for each text type will vary. Take a formal report, for example. The features for formal report writing are very different to, say, if you were given a journal to write. Also need to think carefully about your intended audience, and this is going to greatly influence any kind of language choices you make, any kind of stylistic choices you decide to use. Your tone, sentence structure, vocabulary, etc. are all going to influence by the type of text and of course the audience as well. Now, writing to, say, a family member versus some corporate organization, the tone, the style, language, etc., they are going to be very different. Lastly, you really need to think about why you are writing whatever text type you have been given. So is your purpose to persuade, to inform, to argue, to entertain, describe, reflect, etc.? And again, the purpose is really going to influence the content, the language, and the style of your overall piece. Now let's take a look at the February-March 2020 paper and see if we can identify the TAP successfully. Okay guys, what you are looking at now is the February-March series for paper 1. If you've seen yesterday's video already, you've no doubt seen this already. However, let's just assume we are looking at this paper for the first time with a fresh pair of eyes. And of course, before even thinking about writing or planning for that matter, we need to be able to successfully identify the TAP, the type, audience and purpose. Now, of course, the text type will always be clearly given at the top of the task, and I'm just going to highlight that just in case you are not able to see it for whatever reason. And it says here that the task is to write a letter. Now we need to identify the audience. And as you can see, it says that the audience is Adam's parents. You now have sufficient information to start thinking about the task. It's clearly an informal letter. It's going to Adam's parents. We can start thinking about the typical features that we may wish to include. So for example, you may wish to use contractions because they are often used in informal letters. You may wish to use emotive language to describe Adam's experience, perhaps humor, perhaps sarcasm. Think carefully about your language choices too. Ultimately, they are going to help create the right tone. Now, sometimes you are given the purpose, sometimes it is clearly stated. For this particular task, if you have a look after parents, it does use that verb reflect, and I'm just going to highlight that there. So the purpose is clearly to reflect and indeed to describe Adam's experience of training to be a doctor. Be sure to really give a personal account if you are given a similar task, and think about any suitable stylistic choices. So there we have it, guys. We've identified our TAP, it's a letter, our audience, Adam's parents, and the purpose is to reflect and describe. That's all for today, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.